these things on its own. So anyway, and then controlling your breathing. So like right now, if I was feeling really excited about this and thinking I'm gonna fall on my face or something, just take a moment. Remember that I'm here for the newcomer and to just do this thing and get through it, and hopefully someone gets something out of it. And then take a breath like, I don't know what it is, but that sends a signal to our bodies that everything's okay and we can keep on going. Play the tape through. Holy crap. The times that I've, instead of going and doing something impulsive or drinking or whatever, I've thought, okay, so I've got $100. I'll get tanked in my car at the rest stop, living in my car at the time. And then what? I'm going to be stuck in my car. If someone approaches me, I won't be able to deal with them. If I have to go to the bathroom, blah, 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 blah. Your story won't look anything like that, obviously, but playing the tape through when we feel like we need to do something knee-jerk or impulsive. Yeah, and accept everything. Accept yourself. Everything's just the way it's supposed to be. Like, I've heard a lot in here lately, like, if the world's not to your liking, maybe just accept it for what it is instead. I don't know. All right, so the life story of Jack. Section 1, my childhood. I was a sweet kid. I loved meditating. What? Yeah. No, I got titles for these sections. I was a sweet kid. I loved meditating from around the age of 3 or 4 without any guidance. I just loved getting in the zone. I don't know how that happens, but and I loved my bicycle. I have 2 older siblings, my sister the prodigy, and my brother the whipping boy. My father, the intense perfectionist, often screamed at my brother and occasionally struck him. I was already a good kid, but seeing this and knowing I could be next gave me even more incentive to be an all-out people pleaser when I was around my dad, and sometimes in other situations too. And that led into this healthy behavior of not ever being able to say no to people and just going along with whatever was presented in front of me, which made me incredibly open-minded and capable of doing all kinds of crazy crap, most people would probably know better than to do. So it was a good and a bad thing. And in my early teen years, I started acting out when Dad wasn't around. It was dark inside of me, and I wanted to die or find a shaman capable of showing me how to live. And yeah, I made many attempts on my life when I was young. Section 2, alcohol and obsession. I don't remember my first drink specifically, probably a glass of wine or beer, but I didn't think much of drinking until high school. My first instinct was to take triple shots and drink at a high rate. My friend Ziggy trained me to drink cool and steady. We went to a party with all our friends, and everyone was acting like total animals from the start, and Ziggy made sure we both had a 40 of OE, and we sat and played chess, and he's like, no, slow down, wait another 10 minutes before you take another sip, and tried to show me how to not be the alcoholic that my nature would make me to be. And then there was a time I showed up drunk to band practice when I was like maybe 20 or 21 or something. And I was fucking shit-faced, and I had started an a cappella group, the A Cappella Fellas. But my girlfriend, whom I had met through the band, was leaving me for an even more eccentric artist. I forgot all about band practice and tried to coerce her into not leaving me. I was truly pathetic, and the alcohol had turned on me. I became obsessive, narcissistic, and desperate. This is who I become when I drink, and it took me until the ripe age of 36 to realize it. I thought people were scamming me when I was the one trying to steal from them. 2 men came to my mother's house to get money I owed them when I was 20 years old. Friends came and went, and they were always the ones in the wrong. And that didn't hit me, and like it keeps on hitting me harder and harder, remembering things in my life where I thought, oh, those people were assholes, or man, I was really having a long string of everyone just trying to screw me and get one over on me. And looking back on it only now in this last year with the sobriety and trying to be trying to improve on myself, have I looked back on it and gone, oh, I don't know. I still remember it, that they were the fuckheads, but I'm sorry for all the swearing. But I'm positive I had a part in it at very least, the more I look back on these things. Section 3, musical meth fairies and crippling fear. There's an old folk tale about a flute player who lures children away with his mystical playing. I met a man with mystical musical abilities too, but instead of leading me to safety, he introduced me to DMT and later to 2CD speed. I became a dun-dun player in a West African drumming group. By then I had developed serious social anxiety and a crippling fear for doing new things. Finding work was next to impossible. I wished I could fix things, like repair things, but I had no idea where to even start. After 3 years in that world, I finally got out of my shaman friend's life, but for a while, as his second hand, I had felt strangely capable because with the speed shaman by my side, I could do anything. Because he was super, super capable of all kinds of things, and he could fix things, make music, and mend people's hearts when they were having problems with each other and stuff. I bring this up to illustrate how desperate and hopeless I was. Misguided, yes, but I had to give something a chance. I learned about rhythm, love, radical acceptance, chaos, and intense musical perfectionism. Now on to the fear. If I was blasted on speed, doing things with my shaman friend, I could function. But if he wasn't there, I had no skills. I couldn't fix things. I had no expertise. So I would grind my gears alone, lost in paranoid fantasies. This was at least a minor layer of hell. Even sober, though, this was my baseline. Unaware, incapable, unequipped. Section 4, The Sad Prayer and the Moon. I was 23 years old when Ziggy and his wife Star sat me down. They told me that every time that they tried to tell me that I'd done something wrong, I would get this look on my face like I was afraid they were going to hurt me. My childhood had left some deep scars. I was never struck, but my brother was, struck and screamed at. And I had quickly learned how to avoid getting hit. That old conditioning left me unable to hear anger or frustration without associating it with my unreasonable psychotic father. Which, looking back on it, there's some truth to that, but also he was just another guy with the same problems as anyone else, trying to be the best dad that he knew how to be with the tools that he had. His dad was also very intense with him. Ziggy and Star told me carefully, trying so hard not to frighten me when they revealed this character flaw. Sometime later, I found myself profoundly sad. I prayed to the universe, please help me understand anger. The very next day, I looked through all my things and could barely scrape together a couple of hits of weed resin. I just wanted to stop this feeling. I didn't know what to do. I called my dad for money, and it turned into a three-way conversation between him, my brother, and me, them telling me I needed to straighten up, focus on money making, and get serious about work. After that, I called my mom. She said, "Oh, honey, it's a full moon. Why don't you go look at the moon and calm down?" I ended the call, went outside, and stared up at the moon. I felt a little better, and I remembered a breathing exercise that I thought I was mastering. The last thing I saw as Jack number 1 was the moon as I held my breath. And then I woke up a different person, and I'm mostly going to omit the next 3 days because it's just a lot of unpleasantness. But I woke up a different person with different emotions, and lost years of memories, and the way my brain functions is very different since the head injury compared to the person that was there before. But a big part of it is that all of a sudden I loved and accepted myself. I don't know how to explain that. So at that moment, I didn't know yet, but everything was about to change. If you'd looked at me then, you would have seen someone broken, scarred, and completely lost, but inside something small was starting to wake up. Before I move on, I just want to say thank you for listening to this part of my journey. It's not easy to talk about, but every word you just heard brought me to the next part of the story, the part where I become someone I never expected to be. Section 5, the birth of Accordion Jack. When I got back from the hospital, I basically slept for 2 or 3 days. I would turn on the radio or hear people talking outside, but everything sounded disingenuous. Everything sounded like shit. Everything I heard. It still bothers me. I've been thinking about that the last couple weeks. I celebrate that day. Oh, and then on the 4th of July, I heard an accordion playing outside. It was the first sound that made sense. I celebrate that day as the birth of Accordion Jack. My mom had bought me an accordion a month or so before, but no one could have known how much I would need it. The woman playing accordion outside that day found me trying to play mine, and she gave me 4 lessons, the 4 lessons I needed to get started. From that moment, I played accordion 4 to 14 hours a day, every single day for 3.5 years. I would only stop because of a back injury, and then I took up the guitar and learned that in the dark on my back. During those years, my life had a rhythm. I would play until I had earned enough to afford food, then take a break, play for the lunch crowd, take a break, play for the dinner crowd, and then take a final break before playing for the drinking crowd. Then I'd get weed and a case of beer, sometimes getting invited to a party or Coke party. My drinking during this time was mostly moderate. I'm pretty sure that's a lie, but that's how I remember it. You can fill in the blanks however you want, and that's probably closer to the truth than what I just said. I also bought, repaired, and sold 30 accordions between my rebirth and the next 6 years. But if I wasn't playing accordion or thinking about accordion, I would get uncomfortable, upset, angry, full of rage, or feel completely lost. I knew I had fucked my brain up, but I also knew that if I was stoned and playing accordion, I didn't have to feel it, at least not right then. The accordion gave me escape, temporary pride, a way to focus my thoughts and emotions, and a mask to help me survive another day. Sometimes I would sell my accordion to get weed and cigarettes. Eventually, after being told enough times not to sell my last accordion, I finally listened, but it took me years. I would sell my last accordion and then call my mom desperate. Mom, I sold my last accordion. I don't know how to make money. She'd be like, what? You sold your last accordion? It's like the 6th accordion she's bought me in the last year or something at this point. I remember I went through 20 pans in 2 or 3 months. I'd leave a pan on the stove, go back to my room, do something, whatever, lose track of time, and then hear the smoke alarm going and my neighbors putting out the fire in the kitchen. And I would do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I think I went through 20 pans in a season. Later, when I hit my head, I lost years of memories. My short and long-term memory were both dramatically affected. That's still the same today. But I would call my sweet mother to ask her to buy me cigarettes and tell her that I needed cigarettes or I was gonna kill myself. I would say that to my sweet, sweet mother, who would do anything for me. She would do anything. And it took me a long time to get out of that psychosis and move into a better way of being and being able to see how my actions affect others around me. It's still a challenge, but at least I'm not doing that anymore. At some point, my mom moved back to Bellingham to help me, but I don't remember almost any of that. Looking back, it's strange to say this, but the head injury was one of the best things that ever happened to me. At the time, I felt like it was the end of the world, losing my memories, forgetting conversations, struggling with even simple tasks. But what I didn't see yet was how much space that injury was clearing out inside of me. It cracked open the old rigid shell of who I thought I had to be, without so much of the clutter and the weight of all those memories. I got to start over and got to become something new, someone new. I started learning to be kind to myself, not because I thought I should, but because I had to. I started asking for people and asking for help and leaning into the kindness of other people, which I had resisted for so long. The head injury slowed me down. It forced me to be present in ways I never knew how to before, and it gave me a humility and softening that nothing else could have taught me. I'm grateful because it gave me the life I have today. So where's the part about my wife? Then I met a dying woman and married her. She was given 2 years to live. She still roams the earth today, and I am convinced that she has been here before the time of Jesus and will die with the planet. Because of her, I stopped smoking weed and found a career as a long-haul truck driver, which was a new mask for my pride and almost a good way of life for a while. Her and I separated a couple years back. It was never supposed to last as long as it did. And we were together for like 6 years. And our marriage wasn't built for that. We were friends. We just wanted to be friends. We were just trying to be sweet with each other. She wanted to fix me and I wanted to fix her in like the most genuine and sincere way, I think. I spiraled into blackout drinking when we separated. I lost my CDL and lost my purpose. Of all the great people I mention here, maybe none were more noble and deserving of sainthood than my friend Paul, who would tell you he's just a decent human being and nothing special. And from the beginning of the head injury time to even a year ago, he would always find some way to help me get a place to stay. And he would get people that he knew that could maybe be a little extra generous and help me to live in an attic or something. He'd convince them, no, Jack's good for it. Jack's a good guy, da-da-da-da-da. And I think I always found some way to screw it up. But Paul always believed in me and always was willing to help me and trust me. And he died just a few months ago. I still really love and miss that guy. He would have done anything for me, and it would be cool if he had gotten to see me go through this process of pulling my head out of my ass. I drank most of my income and struggled with stress and fear. I paid some rent, but ended up owing that friend of his $2,000. He said he forgave it, but that's like on my list of, things I need to take care of when I can. I would just stay in my room and feel encumbered by my responsibilities and inability. So like full circle, right back to where I was before the head injury, just freaking choked off by my own fear of going out and doing anything. Now, the last stop before the sobering up part, I stayed on my friend John's couch for a year, playing video games all day and applying for Social Security. My body was truly broken down, and I could barely walk. When you guys first met me about 14 months ago, I came in here living in my Mustang, and I could barely walk from the store back to my car more than once or twice in a day. I have ankle issues and foot issues. And during this time, I would black out on half a pot of coffee and half of a half gallon of vodka regularly, or maybe a bottle of mezcal or tequila. Definitely a bottle of mezcal or tequila. I would get online and tell my gaming friends what pieces of shit they were and destroy my friendships in a night. So I started with progress, not perfection. I knew, and this isn't my first time doing this. I had a home group maybe 8 years ago in Bellingham that really took me in and really cared for me and tried to be there for me. And eventually I got encouraged to leave because It was right after the head injury. I had no filter. I was talking about like my sex life and all kinds of things that most people know well enough not to really bring up in an AA hall. I didn't have that boundary inside of me or the awareness of how I affect people, and I would talk about all kinds of things that I probably would have been like, man, that Jack guy, woo, can't believe he's here again. We got to go through this crap again. Like, so at first I was really bitter about that, but then in more recent times I've realized that I'm grateful for them, and that I think everything went just the way it was supposed to. Um, I've been to rehab. I've done tons of times where I'd get maybe a month or 20 days or something. So anyway, I'm living on my friend's couch, and I realized finally I've got a list of excuses. Do I beat people? Do I crash cars? Am I a danger to anyone else? Am I a danger to myself? Am I blacking out all the time? And I had never really, at least been really honestly, had never been conscious enough of my actions to accept that I had checked off one or two of those things on that list. And I finally came to the point about 16 or 17 months ago. I said, well, shit, I don't think I can drink anymore. I'm the problem. So I started with this idea of progress, not perfection. It was the only thing I could remember from all those years of coming in and out of AA. Like, yeah, progress, not perfection. That makes sense. So I did, because every time before it was always an ultimatum. I'd say, all right, guys, I'm going to get sober tomorrow. It's going to be great. I'm going to fix my whole life. And it's got to happen right then, tomorrow. And then if it doesn't happen exactly the way I see it, and not on my terms, then it wouldn't work. It didn't work 1,000 times. So I don't know how I cracked the code, but I realized that something I had been doing before, which was was probably not going to work this time. So I went maybe 5 days. I think I went 20 days. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to drink. I'm going to let myself drink. And then I think it went 5 days or something. And then I got with, I forget what the place is called, but they gave me naltrexone, which is supposed to lower cravings and give you a chance to get really frickin' nauseous if you drink, depending on the person. Some people react horribly to that drug, so it's not for everybody, but it worked for me and it really helped. So I got a little more time. I was going to AA meetings more, and then my wife and I, who we were still separated at this time, we did a little trip to Portland, and I had my last drink. I got my favorite bottle of Mezcal. It's got a little Cocapelli like flute guy from New Mexico on the side of it, big black bottle, and a bottle of Mountain Dew to mix with it, because that was my drink. It was either Mellow Yellow and Mezcal, or Mountain Dew and Mezcal, but Mellow Yellow is kind of hard to find over here. So had my last drink, and I think I took a sip, and the same thing was happening a bunch in this last phase, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna drink a little more because I don't want my friends to think I'm being weird or something. Like, so I took I think I took 1 or 2 or 3 sips or something, because I was trying to accomplish something social with those 2 or 3 sips. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and then I came back to Bellingham and packed all my crap into my Mustang, and my adventure began. And I came to Skagit County, and I had no idea how or what, but I went to the Friendship House because I just had me in my car and an accordion that I could barely play because of my physical things, and I went to the Friendship House. That was horrible, but also, yay, Friendship House. And I went to Christian based sober living program-ish thing, and that was a thing to do. And then I decided I'd be more comfortable back in my car, so I moved back into my car. And so anyway, during all this, I went to Catholic Community Services. I got a drug and alcohol assessment, and they put me in outpatient treatment, which I thought was just a way for me to get funding to get housing. It turned out I really liked it. And that's where I started hearing more of these tools like play the tape through and seeing other people making their recovery work and how they were doing it and how their thinking was different than the people that were succeeding and were getting something. Yeah, I'm really grateful for this program's encouragement for the higher power thing. I've always had a spiritual life, but learning the third step prayer with my sponsor and some other tools in here gave me really good context for how to interact with my subconscious or God or whatever you want to talk about. Like whether you're talking to something mystical or if you're just talking to yourself, saying a prayer out loud to encourage yourself to do better is a powerful tool. I used to use something called EFT tapping, where you tap on your meridian points and say, I love and accept myself, and I'm going to try not to hate myself, or something like that. And that's a handy tool. So I asked a couple friends what they thought at around this point in my speech, and my gaming friend Fire, his name's Cam, wrote this for me. He said, if I hadn't been in the place and time I was when I logged in to play PUBG, and that day about 4 years ago, I would never have met Fire and built the great gaming community that we built together. They are a huge part of the reason why I got sober and why I stayed sober. That's what I kept on destroying. That was the thing that helped clue me in. It wasn't hurting anyone else. It wasn't crashing cars. It wasn't telling my mother horrible things. It was my gaming community. And yeah, I thought that'd be funny to do honorable mentions of my friends' gaming names, but maybe we'll skip that. The last one was Girthquake, though.
Did you say Girthquake?
But yeah, friggin', I came to a game night here in Seizure Woolly Group, maybe like, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I got to know some of the people here. It was super uncomfortable at first. I was like, felt like I was trying to put my back up against the wall, because like there are all these people with their personalities and stuff, and I don't know anything about them. I'm learning how to be a responsible person with my mouth, and it's a long drawn out process, and I don't want to I don't want to shock anyone or say something that's gonna send someone into a tailspin. But I met my sponsor Josh. And I met this guy. Was it Greg? That guy gave me my first big book, and Josh seemed like a really good guy. But then I had this experience where I was already really screwed up emotionally this day. I don't remember what led to this. It was something that happened that wound me up to this point. I can't remember that part, but a guy came here and he talked to me, and before he even talked to me, I was having this like PTSD stuff that I'm still getting grips on as a sober person. I was like, I think that guy's an angel. He's a messenger. He's gonna tell me something. And then he comes over and tells me, and this is like a really intense dude. He's like kind of in my face and like charged up, and that's exactly what triggers my PTSD. And I know, I could have honored myself and said, hey man, I gotta go. It's really nice talking to you. Thank you for your good intentions. I just have to get out of here right now. But instead I stuck with it. I hung out, and when I left here, as soon as I got in the car, I felt like someone was following me. I don't know how to explain this other than it was like I could see a face in the back of my head looking at me with bad intentions. And it felt... it felt like not something that... It's like something I could observe, knowing that it was separate from my normal consciousness. And so I went to the store. I still felt like someone was following me. This car pulled up next to me. I was like, that's the motherfucker right there. And this cute little girl gets out and like goes to do her grocery shopping, and I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Something's really wrong. I don't know what it is. So anyway, I went to the store, got out, went to the rest stop, passed out, and then I had one of the worst nightmares of my life. I don't remember what it was, but it was jolting. And so I called my friend who had put herself in a psych ward before because of her issues. And I said, hey, I'm going through this thing. I think this is what my PTSD does if I don't just throw booze at it. Because I'd always just drank on it. Like, oh, I have this feeling, this is what I need to do, is I need to go get drunk. That's how I always dealt with it. So I went, put myself in the psych ward, took a little break. And when I came back, I felt like I shouldn't go back to Bellingham, but I ran away from Fairhaven Hall and my sponsor and everything, went to Ferndale and Bellingham and hung out, and I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I felt like I had received a message that God told me, you're not supposed to be in Bellingham right now. But it was the easy thing to do. So I did it. And then I started to realize my friend that I was staying with started blacking out every night. So anyway, long story short, I did end up coming back. I ran into Josh at a meeting again. I said, hey, it's good to see you. He was super welcoming. Another AA friend or CA friend was like, hey, Jack, great to see you. Welcome back or something. I was like, shit, okay, I guess I'm back here again. I guess I'm doing this. And that was around the time I made this my 4-year plan. I was like, I don't know anything. I'm living in a clean, sober house. I got a car and a van. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to get from here to hopefully have a meaningful career somewhere. Maybe go to college for the SUD program so I can be a drug counselor or something like that. But I do know that I want this sobriety thing to work for me and be meaningful in my life. And it's so easy because, oh my God, there's this AA thing where you can come hang out with people and learn about yourself and how to fix your thinking. Like, what a cool thing. If I had known about AA before, really understood, this is exactly what I've always wanted. A bunch of people I can hang out with that we want to work on ourselves. It's so cool. There isn't much more meaningful. Anyway, so play the tape through, make lists, get involved. It's not going to hurt you to make yourself vulnerable with other people. It's not as bad as it sounds. What's the worst is going to happen? You're going to have the same feelings you've had before, and it's going to suck. That sucks. But on the off chance, maybe you'll meet some people that can help you get on track too. And that I've been so blessed in this year with people being generous with me, making sure that I'm safe and warm and fed and have gas in my car. And I've had people in the program really look out for me, and I've needed that. It's been amazing. So I guess I don't really know where to go after that. Is there anything I'm leaving out, Josh? Probably a lot.
Just maybe cheer it, brother.
Nice. Yes! My work here is done. Thank you all. I'm honored. Thank you.